Alright, welcome to a video on arc and central angle measures. And if you remember listening to the lines and the segments that intersect circles video, yes, Supernatural is now on. So I'm watching that in the background here with it on mute. So, what is a central angle? Well, the central angle in a circle is the angle that's created at the center of a circle in two radii. So, a central angle and its arc are also equal. So if we look here, we're at the center of our circle. We draw two radii, that creates this orange angle. That's called a central angle. And then we have the arc that connects the two radii there. And the degree measure, because we know that a circle is 360 degrees, so there's a degree measure here on the inside angle and the outside arc. Those measures in degrees are equal. So if this is 80 degrees, this is 80 degrees. So they're always going to be equal. And we're going to use that to solve for some missing variables, things like that. So I've got an example I'm going to do on the left and leave you to do the one on the right, and then I'll do the same thing on the next page. So here on the left we're trying to find the x, as always, it seems like. And we see that it's this angle here. Well, we see that there's a 120 and a 155 here. Well, that's just extra information. One of these is extra and we don't need it. Because if we know the arc that goes with the angle, then we know the measure. So we don't actually need this 155. We just need this 120. So we know x equals 120 degrees. So I want you to go ahead and pause the video and do the one on the right. And hopefully this one's a bit straightforward for you. You see that the that arc goes with that central angle, therefore it's 123 degrees. But they're not all going to be that easy. So here we're going to have to do some solving. And in any of these, if it looks like a diameter, then assume it's a diameter. And just remember that diameters of a circle cut the circle in half, which means that it's 180 degrees because it's a straight line, which means that the arc is also 180 degrees. So on the left here, we have two diameters. I know it's not drawn very well, sorry, but we do have two diameters. So that means that we have vertical angles, which means that these are equal. So if we figure out this and this, we're good, because we can set up an equation. Now there's more than one way to answer this. There's tons of ways to answer this. I'm going to do one way. And then on the next example, if my way is different than your way, and you get the same answer and the math works out, that's fine. So if we look here, I know this whole thing's 180 degrees. So I know this is 180 degrees. I know 140 of it, which means I have 40 degrees left. So this is 40 degrees. So I know that this arc is also 40 degrees. So now I have an equation that I can solve for x. So let's go ahead and do that now. So we find out that x equals 8. Okay, so now the one on the right, I want you to go ahead and pause the video and solve the one on the right. So go ahead and check, make sure that you got -3 no matter way you did it, and that your math works out okay. There's a couple of different ways you could have done this. This is the way I did it. Now, just so you know, this says x equals -3. The measures aren't -3. That's very important. If you're solving for a variable, it can be a negative number. But if we're solving for some measure or distance or something, it cannot be negative. So if you're finding the measure of an angle and you see that it's negative, then there's something wrong. So you need to check your work. So that's it for this video. Go ahead and review it if you need, ask questions, or try the practice problem.